Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English in Fluency. I'm your host, Alex, and if you are watching this right now, I just want you to know something. You are already doing something amazing. You sat down, you pressed play, and you showed up for yourself today. That matters. A lot of people think about improving their English, but you are actually doing it. You made the choice. You committed the time. And that is not a small thing. That is everything. So, before we even get started, I want to say, good for you. Seriously. I mean that. Now, today we have something really special lined up, and I think by the end of this video, you are going to feel a real difference in the way you hear English. Not just understand it. Hear it. Feel it. Catch the meaning that is hiding just beneath the surface of what people say. Because today, we are talking about something that people use every single day, but almost never teach in English classrooms. We are talking about how people express gratitude in real, everyday English. How they say thank you in ways that go way beyond just the two words thank you. How they show appreciation in conversations at work, with friends, with strangers, with neighbors, with people they have just met, and people they have known for years. And how you, yes, you, can start catching all of that meaning when you hear it in the wild. This is a B1 level listening practice session, which means the language is going to be clear and understandable, but it is going to be real. It is going to sound like actual people talking with all the emotion and texture that real conversations have. Because that is what we do here at English in Fluency. We do not teach you textbook English. We teach you the English that actually lives out there in the real world. The English that breathes, that moves, that connects people to each other. Before we dive in, I have a small favor to ask you. If you find this video helpful, and I really think you will, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It truly helps us reach more learners just like you, and it lets us keep making content like this for free. Every like, every subscribe, every shared video, it adds up and it genuinely makes a difference. This is a community we are building together, and I am so glad you are part of it. Okay? We good? Great. Let's go. So let me ask you something before we get into the stories. Have you ever been in a conversation in English? Maybe at work, or with a friend, or watching a show? And someone said something, and you could feel that it was meant as a thank you, but you were not exactly sure what they said or why it felt that way. Like, they did not say, thank you, directly, but somehow you knew they were grateful. You could feel the warmth radiating from what they said. Something in their voice, their word choice, the way they looked at the person they were talking to. Something told you that this moment was about gratitude. But you couldn't quite put your finger on which words made you feel that way. That happens all the time in English. Native speakers, and even fluent non-native speakers, express gratitude in dozens of different ways. Some of them are very direct. Some of them are soft and indirect. Some of them are formal. Some are super casual. Some come wrapped in humor. Some come quietly, barely above a whisper. And the tricky part is that if you have only learned thank you and thanks, you might completely miss what the other person is trying to say emotionally. You might understand the words, but miss the feeling behind them. And the feeling is actually the most important part. And that is exactly what today is about. We are going to look at real conversations between real-sounding characters in real-sounding situations. and we are going to listen carefully, really carefully, to how they show gratitude. We will talk about the phrases they use, why they use them, what emotional color those phrases carry, and when you would use them in your own life. By the time we are done, you are going to be amazed at how many hidden moments of gratitude you will start catching in your daily English conversations, in films, in shows, in podcasts, and everywhere else. All right, let's meet our characters for today. I want you to picture these people clearly, because you are going to spend the next little while with them, and they are going to teach you a lot. We have got Maya. Maya is in her late 20s. She works at a small bakery, but also goes to evening classes to improve her English. She moved to the city about 6 months ago, and she has been navigating the beautiful, sometimes overwhelming experience of building a new life in a new place. She is the kind of person who notices everything. She picks up on little details in conversations that other people miss. She pays attention. She cares. She loves tea. She loves early mornings before the city wakes up. And she is genuinely, warmly kind to everyone she meets. There is something about Maya that makes people feel safe around her. Like they can be honest with her. Like she is not going to judge them. Then we have Tom. Tom is Maya's neighbor. He is a bit older, maybe in his mid-30s. He is an electrician by trade, practical, reliable, the kind of person who shows up when you need him and does not make a fuss about it. He is not always great with words. Sometimes he fumbles a little when he tries to express how he feels, like the feeling is too big for the words he has available, and he ends up saying something smaller than what he means. But he means well. He has a genuinely good heart. And once you get to know him, you realize he is the kind of person who would drop everything to help you. He is the kind of neighbor, and the kind of friend, that people do not appreciate enough until something goes wrong and there he is, already at your door. And then we have Priya. Priya is a colleague of Maya's from her English evening class. She grew up speaking a mix of languages at home and is incredibly good at picking up new words and phrases, like she has a gift for it. But she sometimes struggles with the emotional or cultural side of English expressions. The way tone and context can completely change the meaning of something. She is funny and sharp and asks all the right questions. She is the person in class who says the thing that everyone was thinking, but nobody said. She brings energy into a room. People tend to laugh more when Priya is around. These three characters are going to carry us through 6 different real-life scenarios today. In each one, we are going to hear how gratitude shows up, sometimes loudly, sometimes quietly, sometimes in big dramatic phrases, and sometimes in just 2 or 3 simple words. And we are going to talk about what it all means and how you can use it. Let's start with the first one. Maya had just moved into her apartment about 3 months ago. It was a small place, the kind of apartment that feels cozy, if you decide it is cozy, and cramped if you are in the wrong mood. But she loved it. It was hers. She had decorated it slowly, piece by piece, putting a little plant on the windowsill and a small rug by the door. The problem was, one evening, she came home from her bakery shift and found that all the lights in her apartment had stopped working. Not just one. All of them. She stood in the dark hallway, completely puzzled, feeling slightly ridiculous as she flicked the same switch on and off about 12 times. She knocked on Tom's door because She had seen him fixing things around the building before, and he just seemed like someone who would know what to do. Tom opened the door, still in his work clothes, a bit tired but completely unfazed by the situation. Maya explained what had happened, and without even thinking twice, he grabbed his toolbox and came over. He moved around the apartment methodically, unhurried, checking things she would never have thought to check. 40 minutes later, everything was working again. It turned out there was a problem with the circuit breaker, something Maya would never have been able to fix on her own, and honestly, something she did not even know existed before that night. Now here is where we listen very carefully. After Tom finished fixing everything and was about to leave, Maya said something to him. She stood in her now glowing little apartment and said, "Tom, I honestly don't know what I would have done without you tonight. You really saved me." Pause right there. Did she say, "Thank you"? Not exactly. She said, "I honestly don't know what I would have done without you." That phrase, "I don't know what I would have done without you," is one of the most powerful ways to express deep gratitude in English. It tells the other person that their help was not just useful, it was essential. It was necessary. It shifted what could have been a really stressful night into a manageable one. Without them, things would have been much, much harder. The word honestly at the beginning adds sincerity. It signals, "I am not just saying this, I mean it," and it invites the other person to believe you. And then she added, "You really saved me." The word saved here is not literal. Tom did not rescue her from danger in a dramatic sense, but using the word saved shows just how much his help meant to her. It elevated the act of fixing a circuit breaker into something heroic, something meaningful. In everyday English, we use saved and lifesaver constantly to describe moments when someone came through for us in a way that prevented difficulty or stress or embarrassment. It is enthusiastic and warm, and it always feels good to hear. Tom, being Tom, kind of looked at his shoes and said, "Oh, it was nothing. Really, I'm just glad it wasn't anything serious." Now this is also very important. Tom is downplaying his help. He is saying it was nothing. But this is actually a very common and very natural response in English when someone thanks you. It is a way of saying, "I was happy to help, and you don't need to make a big deal out of it." It is modest. It is polite. And interestingly, it often makes the other person feel even more grateful, because now they can see that the person helped them out of genuine kindness, without any expectation of reward or recognition. Maya smiled and said, "No, seriously, Tom, it means a lot. I owe you one." There it is again. Two more beautiful expressions of gratitude back to back. It means a lot. 3 simple words. But those 3 words carry enormous emotional weight in English. When someone says something means a lot to them, they are telling you that it touched them deeply, that it was not just convenient or practical, it mattered on an emotional level. They will carry this with them. They will remember it. And then, I owe you one. Oh, this one is a real gem, and it comes up all the time in everyday English. I owe you one is one of the most casual and yet completely genuine ways to say thank you. It comes from the idea that you are now in someone's debt. Not literally, not financially, but socially and emotionally. You are saying, "You did something for me, and one day I will do something for you. We are even. We take care of each other." It creates a bond. It says, "We are in this together." Let's take a breath and talk about what we just heard, because there were actually 5 different expressions of gratitude in that one short exchange, and not a single one of them was just a plain thank you. Let's go through them once more so they really sink in. First, I honestly don't know what I would have done without you. This phrase works best in serious situations where someone really did come through for you in a significant way. It is warm, it is sincere, and it is deeply personal. The word honestly at the front is important. It is a signal of sincerity. Second, you really saved me. This one is more dramatic and emotional. You can use it in serious situations, but also in much lighter ones. If a friend saves you from an awkward situation, or helps you avoid a mistake at work, or shows up with food when you forgot your lunch, it adds color and warmth and genuine enthusiasm to your gratitude. Third, it was nothing. This is the response, not the gratitude itself, but what you say when someone thanks you, and you want to accept graciously while also being humble. Native speakers use this constantly. It disarms the moment and keeps things warm and relaxed. Fourth, it means a lot. Short, simple, and powerful. Use this when you want the other person to know that their help or their words went straight to your heart and landed somewhere real. Fifth, I owe you one. Casual, friendly, and genuine. This one is perfect for friendships and relationships where you want to keep things light but still express real, authentic appreciation. Now, here is a little challenge for you. I want you to think about a time in your own life. It can be very recent or from a while back, when someone helped you with something really important. What did you say to them? Did you use any of these phrases? Could you use one of them now, even retroactively? Maybe send them a message using one of these expressions? Take a moment right now to actually think about it. And if you can, say the phrase out loud. There is something really powerful about speaking these phrases, not just hearing them. Your mouth needs to practice them too. Okay, let's move on to the second scenario. This one is lighter, warmer, softer, more everyday. It takes place in the English evening class that Maya and Priya both attend. It had been a tough week. Maya had been working extra shifts at the bakery because one of her colleagues was sick, and she had barely slept more than 5 or 6 hours any night. She nearly didn't come to class that Tuesday evening. She sat on the edge of her bed after getting home from work and had a genuine internal debate about whether her brain was even capable of learning anything tonight. But she pushed herself to go, because she had made herself a promise when she started the classes, and she was not ready to break it. When she arrived, she was tired, a bit stressed, and kind of quiet in a way that was unusual for her. Priya noticed immediately, the way she always noticed things about people. Without saying anything, without making a fuss, Priya went to the little snack station at the side of the classroom where there was a kettle and some mugs and tea bags. She made a cup of tea exactly the way Maya likes it. She had been paying attention over the past weeks, with just a little bit of honey and not too much milk. She placed it quietly and carefully on the desk in front of Maya and said simply, "Thought you could use this." Now, "thought you could use this" is such a gentle and beautiful phrase. It is not loud. It does not demand attention or gratitude. It just offers. It says, "I noticed you, and I responded to what I noticed." When Maya accepted that cup of tea, what she said back was something really telling. She wrapped both hands around the warm cup, the way you do when you need the warmth not just for your hands, but for something deeper. Took a sip, and looked at Priya with the most genuine, unguarded expression, and said, "You have no idea how much I needed this." Let's talk about that phrase. You have no idea how much I needed this. It is not just saying thank you for the tea. It is saying so much more. It is saying, you saw me when I didn't even fully see myself. You understood what I was going through without me having to say a word. You responded to a need I hadn't even voiced out loud. The phrase, "you have no idea," is almost like saying, words cannot explain. It is a way of communicating that the feeling is too big, too layered, too real to fit inside a tidy sentence. It goes beyond the gesture itself and speaks to the profound experience of being truly seen and understood by another person. That is one of the rarest and most beautiful things in any relationship. Priya smiled, not the big theatrical kind of smile, but the quiet, real one, and said, "Of course. That's what friends are for, right?" Let's hold that phrase for a second. That's what friends are for. It is a way of accepting gratitude while simultaneously deepening the connection between two people. It says, this is what our relationship is built on. I don't help you because I have to or because there is a transaction happening. I help you because you matter to me and because this is simply what it means to be friends. Later that same evening, the teacher gave everyone a really difficult grammar exercise, the kind that makes your brain feel like it is trying to open a jar that is stuck. Maya struggled with it, visibly. Her pen kept stopping. She kept rereading the same sentence. And Priya quietly leaned over and helped her work through it, step by step. She was careful not to just give Maya the answers, that would not help her in the long run, but instead guided her thinking, asked questions, pointed at things, and waited for Maya to figure it out herself. It took longer that way, but when Maya finally got it, she actually understood what she had done. When they finished, Maya turned and said, "Honestly, Priya, you're a lifesaver." There it is again, lifesaver. Just like saved me in the first story, the word lifesaver is used in everyday English to express strong, warm, enthusiastic gratitude. You are not saying someone literally saved your life. You are saying they rescued you from a difficult situation in a way that felt really significant in that moment. It is enthusiastic, it is warm, and it always makes the other person feel good. Priya laughed and said, "Anytime. Seriously, anytime." And that is a beautiful and simple and powerful way to respond to gratitude in English. Anytime. Just one word, but it contains multitudes. It says, I will always be here for you. You never need to hesitate to ask. The door is always open, and there is no limit on how many times you can walk through it. Let's take a moment here and notice something. Did you see how gratitude in that second scenario was not just verbal? It was physical. The warm cup of tea, the quiet placement on the desk, the choice to not make a production out of it. The actual words of gratitude came after the gesture, and the words Maya chose reflected the emotional depth of what that gesture meant to her. This is something really important about gratitude in English. Sometimes the words are simple, but they carry enormous meaning because of the context and the relationship that surrounds them. You have no idea how much I needed this is not a complicated sentence, but in that moment, it said everything. Now I want to introduce you to some more phrases that come up regularly in everyday English, when people want to express thanks in a sincere but natural way. These are ones you will hear a lot, and once you know them, you will be amazed at how often they pop up. One you will hear constantly is, "I really appreciate it," or the even more personal version, "I really appreciate you." The difference between these two is actually really significant and worth paying attention to. When you say, "I appreciate it," you are talking about the action, the thing they did. When you say, "I appreciate you," you are talking about the person themselves. You are saying, "It is not just what you did that I value, it is who you are." That is a much deeper and more personal expression of gratitude. It moves beyond the event and speaks to the person's character. Another phrase you will hear is, "That was so kind of you." This one sounds a little more formal, but you will hear it in everyday conversation too, especially when someone does something unexpectedly generous or thoughtful. It shifts the focus to the character of the person. Calling them kind is a compliment as much as it is a thank you. You are appreciating not just the act, but the intention behind it. And then there is, "I can't thank you enough." This is one of those phrases that honestly acknowledges that words are simply not sufficient. No matter how many times you say thank you, it will not fully cover how grateful you feel. It is a phrase of abundance, of overflowing appreciation. It is honest about its own limitations, and that honesty is what makes it so powerful and sincere. You will also hear, "I don't know how to repay you," which carries a similar feeling. The sense that the debt of gratitude is more than you can easily pay back. And "you didn't have to do that" is another important one. It acknowledges that the person went out of their way, that they were not obligated, and that you recognize and deeply appreciate that choice. Let's move into our third scenario now, and this one is set at Maya's workplace, the bakery, which has become one of the most important places in her new life. One morning, a regular customer came in. His name was George, a kind older man who came in every Tuesday and Friday, without fail, for a coffee and a croissant. He always ordered the same thing. He always sat at the same small table by the window. He always read a newspaper, even though everyone else in the cafe was looking at their phones. Maya had been serving him for about a year now, and over time they had built up one of those small but genuinely warm friendships. The kind you build over the counter, through small, consistent conversations and consistent kindness. They talked about the weather, about books he was reading, about her classes, about nothing in particular, which is actually everything. One Friday, Maya was having a particularly rough morning. She had received some difficult news from back home, something family-related, something she was keeping private. And while she was trying to keep her professional face on and be present for her customers, it was clear to George that something was not quite right. He noticed the slightly strained quality of her smile, the way she was a half-second slower than usual. He did not pry. He did not ask lots of questions. He did not lean across the counter and demand to know what was wrong. He just said, quietly and simply, "You know, I look forward to coming here every week. The coffee is wonderful, but honestly, it's you that makes my day." Now, this is technically a compliment, but it functions as an expression of gratitude. "You make my day" is one of the warmest and most generous things you can say to someone in English. It means, because of you, my day is better. Because of you, things feel lighter and brighter and more worth being in. It is a form of thanks that honors not just a single action, but a presence, the way someone consistently shows up and brings something positive with them without even being fully aware of how much it matters. Maya's eyes got a little watery. She blinked fast, which is not easy to hide when you are standing behind a bakery counter in full view of the morning rush. And she said, "Thank you so much, George. You have no idea how much that means to me today. Especially today." And that is a phrase we already heard. You have no idea how much that means to me. But notice what Maya added at the end. Especially today. Those two words make it even more personal, even more honest. They say, your words landed at the exact right moment. Today, of all days, I needed someone to see me. I needed to hear this. The especially today opens a small window. It lets George know that this was not just a nice thing to say in general. It was a necessary thing to hear right now. It invites him into the emotional truth of the moment without her having to explain everything. George smiled, the particular quiet smile of someone who is genuinely glad they said the right thing, and said, "Well, it's true. You always make this place feel like somewhere worth being." He left his usual tip, and then added a little extra and walked out the door. He did not make a big deal of it. He just did it quietly and went on his way. And sometimes that quiet, understated form of gratitude and kindness is the most powerful of all. The kind that doesn't announce itself. The kind that just arrives. Let's spend a moment here talking about something that English learners sometimes find confusing. The relationship between expressing gratitude and expressing admiration or complimenting someone. In English, these often overlap in really interesting ways. When someone says, "You always brighten my day," they are expressing gratitude through compliment. When someone says, "Talking to you always helps," they are doing the same thing. They are not just saying, "Thank you for this specific thing you just did." They are saying, "Your presence in my life is something I am grateful for on a continuous basis." This is a beautiful and very natural way to show appreciation in English. And once you start noticing it, you will see it everywhere. In conversations, in songs, in the way people talk to each other when something really matters. Okay, let's get into scenario 4. And this one is a little more serious. It is about a moment of real vulnerability and the kind of gratitude that comes from being helped through something genuinely difficult. Priya had been working hard for several weeks on a presentation for a community group she was part of. It was a big deal for her. She had to speak in front of about 30 people, all in English, on a topic she cared deeply about. She had prepared for weeks. She had written and rewritten her notes. She had practiced in front of her bathroom mirror. She had timed herself. She had done everything right in theory. But the night before, she completely fell apart. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have done all the preparation and the nerves still find a way in. And suddenly, everything you thought you knew vanishes, and you are left just sitting there feeling hollow. She sent Maya a message at 11 at night. One of those messages you write when you are in that place of real fear. "I can't do this. I'm going to mess it up. I don't think I should go." Maya called her immediately. And here is the thing. She did not give Priya a pep talk right away. She did not launch into advice. She just listened first. She let Priya talk. She asked questions, not to quiz her, but to help her think out loud, to follow the thread of her own fear and see where it led. She helped Priya talk through what she was actually afraid of versus what she imagined she was afraid of. And slowly, gradually, the two things separated out. And Priya could see that the reality was not as bad as the imagination. By the end of the call, she felt steadier. Not fearless, still nervous, but steadier. She felt like she could do it. The next evening, Priya sent Maya a message. Just a few words. She said, "I did it. And Maya, I need to tell you, none of that would have happened without last night. Thank you doesn't even cover it." Thank you doesn't even cover it. Let's sit with that phrase for a real moment, because it is one of the most honest and emotionally resonant expressions of gratitude in English. It is an acknowledgement that language itself is falling short, that the feeling is so big, so real, so layered, that even the most common expression of thanks is not big enough to hold it. It is not that the person is ungrateful. It is the exact opposite. They are so grateful that they feel the need to tell you that normal expressions of gratitude simply don't do justice to what they feel. There is a kind of beautiful honesty in that, in saying, the word exists, but it is too small. This is bigger than the word. Maya wrote back, "I'm so proud of you. You did the hard part. I just talked. All I did was remind you what you already knew." And this response is fascinating and really skillful. Maya is not just being modest. She is actively giving the credit back to Priya. She is saying, "Your success belongs to you. I was just a sounding board. I was just a mirror that helped you see what was already there." And this is actually a very emotionally intelligent thing to do in English, when someone thanks you after a big achievement. Redirecting the credit back to them not only makes them feel good, it also affirms their confidence and deepens the trust between you. Priya replied, "Stop being modest. You always know exactly what to say. I'm so lucky to have you. And I'm so lucky to have you that one deserves attention." It is a way of expressing gratitude that goes all the way to the core of the relationship itself. It is not just, "Thanks for what you did tonight." It is, "I am grateful that you exist in my life. I am grateful that of all the people in the world, I ended up knowing you." That is a profound and very genuine thing to say, and it hits differently than almost anything else you could express. Let's pause and practice something here. I want you to imagine a moment in your life. It can be from yesterday or from 5 years ago, when you helped someone. Doesn't matter if it was big or small. Think about that moment. Now think about what they said. Did they use any of these phrases we have been talking about? And now I want you to think about how you responded. Did you accept the thanks gracefully? Did you downplay your help? Did you give the credit back to them? There is no right or wrong answer here. I just want you to start becoming aware of these patterns in your own life, your own interactions, because that is how this kind of learning actually sticks. Not just in your notes, in your lived experience. All right, we are going into Scenario 5, and this one is set in a professional context, a situation that a lot of English learners find especially challenging, because expressing gratitude at work has its own particular language and its own set of unspoken rules. Maya had been working at the bakery for nearly a year. She had been trying, quietly and patiently, to get a small promotion. Nothing dramatic, just a little more responsibility, and a slightly better schedule. The owner of the bakery, a woman named Sandra, was the kind of person who watched everything. She noticed who showed up early. She noticed who went the extra mile without being asked. She noticed how people treated the customers and each other. And she had been watching Maya for a long time. One afternoon, Sandra called Maya into the small back office, the one with the worn wooden desk and the pile of invoices on the corner, and told her that she was going to be made the senior morning staff member. It was not a dramatic promotion in terms of title or pay, but it was a meaningful recognition. It said, "I see you. I notice what you do. You are valued here." Maya was genuinely surprised. She had not known it was coming. She sat across from Sandra and felt a warmth moving through her chest and said, "Sandra, I am truly grateful. This means more to me than you might realize." Notice the language she chose. I am truly grateful. Not just, I'm grateful, or even, I'm so grateful. The word truly intensifies it. It signals, this is not just words. I mean this completely. This is real. This is felt. And then, this means more to me than you might realize. That phrase is an invitation. It gently tells Sandra that the impact of her decision goes deeper than the surface. It says, you may have thought you were just making a small administrative change, but what you have actually done is made me feel seen and valued and worth something here. Those are not small things. Sandra smiled and said, "You've earned it, Maya. I just made it official." What a beautiful and affirming response. "You've earned it" is one of the most respectful and empowering things a manager or employer can say. It says, this is not charity. This is not a favor. This is recognition of effort. And by saying, "I just made it official," Sandra is also saying, this has already been true for a while. I am just catching up to reality. That kind of response actually makes the gratitude and the honor land even more deeply. Maya left the office and called Tom immediately. He picked up and she said, "Tom, I got the promotion." There was a pause on the line, the kind where you can feel the other person smiling before they speak. And then he said, "Yes, I knew it. Maya, you work harder than anyone I know. You deserve this so much." And she said, "Tom, I swear, your support over these past months has meant everything to me. You kept telling me not to give up when I was ready to. Your support has meant everything to me." Another incredible phrase, and one that is particularly powerful for situations that are not about a single event, but about sustained, ongoing support over time. Meant everything is like taking "it means a lot" and expanding it until it fills the whole room. When something means everything to you, it is at the very center of who you are in this period. It is foundational. And saying it in the context of someone's ongoing belief in you, months of small encouragements, small reminders not to quit, gives it a weight and a warmth that lands really deep. Tom, predictably, said something like, "Oh, come on. I barely did anything. You did all the work." And Maya said, "No, Tom. Sometimes all you need is one person who believes in you. You were that person for me." And there it is, one of the simplest and most profound ways to express gratitude in English. It does not use advanced vocabulary. It does not have complicated grammar. It just tells the truth. You were that person for me. You were the one. Among everyone, you were the one who kept showing up with the right word at the right time. And I need you to know that. Now, let's talk about some of the specific phrases that work well in professional contexts. Because the gratitude we express at work tends to be slightly different in register. A little more measured, a little more formal, but still genuinely warm. I am incredibly thankful for this opportunity. This is the kind of thing you might say to a boss, a mentor, or someone who has given you a chance you really wanted. The word incredibly adds genuine warmth while staying professional. I sincerely appreciate your confidence in me. This one directly names what the other person has done. They expressed confidence in you, and names that that specific thing is appreciated. Being specific in your gratitude is always more powerful than being vague. This recognition means a great deal to me. This is slightly more formal and works well in professional emails or more official settings. I won't forget this. Short, simple, and powerful. It says, I will carry this with me. It will matter to me in the future. Thank you for taking a chance on me. This one is especially touching when someone gave you an opportunity you weren't sure you would get, when there was some risk involved in their choice to trust you. All of these are polite, professional, and genuine. None of them are stiff or robotic. They all sound like something a real person would actually say, because they are. Okay. We are now going into the sixth and final scenario. This is the most emotional one, and I want you to really listen closely, because we are going to hear some of the most beautiful and complete expressions of gratitude in the whole English language. It had been 6 months since Maya moved to the city. 6 months since she had arrived with 2 suitcases, a lot of questions, and a courage that she did not always feel, but chose to act on anyway. 6 months of early mornings at the bakery, of evening English classes where her brain hurt in the best possible way, of late-night study sessions at her small kitchen table, of small victories that felt enormous, and small setbacks that felt enormous too. 6 months of building something, a life, a routine, a community of people she could actually call hers. She decided to write Tom and Priya each a handwritten note. She thought about it for a while and decided that a text message or a voice note simply would not do justice to what she wanted to say. There are some feelings that need paper, some feelings that need you to slow down and find each word deliberately, one at a time. Here is what she wrote to Tom. Dear Tom, I have been trying to find the right words for this for a while, and I am not sure I have found them yet. But here goes. When I arrived here, I was nervous about everything. Every small problem felt like a mountain. The first week I burned my dinner twice, got on the wrong bus 3 times, and managed to lock myself out of the apartment. I stood in this hallway not knowing who to ask or what to do. And then you showed up, literally at my door, with a toolbox, with no fuss and no judgment. And in that one moment, everything felt a little less impossible. You have helped me more times than I can count since that night. And you have never once made me feel like I was a burden. That is rarer than you might think. A lot of people help you, but somehow also make you feel guilty for needing the help. You never did that. You just helped. I want you to know that your kindness has changed me. Not just my life here in this apartment in this city, but me, who I am, the way I see people, the way I believe there is goodness out there, even when things are hard. I am a better person for knowing you. Thank you does not come close to saying what I feel, but it is the only word I have. So, thank you, Tom. From the bottom of my heart. Let's take that apart slowly, because there is so much in there worth understanding. I have been trying to find the right words for a while. This tells Tom immediately that this is not a casual or throwaway expression. It is something she has given real thought to. It says, "You matter enough that I sat with this, tried to get it right, because you deserve more than something quick and easy." Everything felt a little less impossible. Notice the careful precision of this phrase. She does not say, "Everything felt easy." She says, "A little less impossible." That is honest. That is specific. It acknowledges that things were still hard. The mountain was still there. But knowing Tom was around made it a little smaller, a little more scalable. There is something really lovely and real about that level of honesty and gratitude. "You have never once made me feel like I was a burden." This is one of the deepest and most meaningful expressions of gratitude in this entire script, and I think it is worth spending some extra time on it. Being helped by someone is one thing. Being helped in a way where you never feel small, never feel like an inconvenience, never feel like you are taking something that wasn't freely given, that is something else entirely. That is grace. And naming it, telling someone that they gave you that grace, is one of the most personal and meaningful things you can say. "Your kindness has changed me." Not, "Your kindness helped me." Not, "Your kindness made things easier." Changed me. When you say that someone's kindness has changed you, you are saying that the impact goes all the way down to your core. That you are different because of them. That some part of how you move through the world, some part of how you see other people and what you believe is possible, that has been altered by what they gave you. That is a profound thing to say and to receive. "I am a better person for knowing you." This phrase, you will hear it in English, and it always lands with real weight. Better for knowing you. It says, my quality, my character, my capacity to be a good person in the world, all of this has been raised by the fact that you exist in my life. It is gratitude at its most expansive and its most sincere. Thank you does not come close to saying what I feel, but it is the only word I have. This is honest in the most disarming way. It acknowledges the limitation of language. It says, "I know that these two syllables cannot hold all of this, but they are what exists, and I offer them with everything I have." There is a vulnerability in this that makes it incredibly moving. "From the bottom of my heart." And this classic phrase, one of the oldest sincerity markers in English, closes the letter. When something comes from the bottom of your heart, it comes from the deepest, most genuine place inside you. It is not surface. It is not performance. It is real. Tom, when he read that note, apparently sat very quietly for a long time. And later, when he saw Maya in the hallway, he did not have many words ready. He just said, "That was the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me." And sometimes, that is the only response that is needed. Now, let's hear Priya's note, because Maya wrote to her as well, and the tone is completely different. Lighter, funnier, warmer, because that is the particular texture of their friendship. She wrote, "Dear Priya, okay, here is the thing. You show up, every single time. When I was tired, you brought me tea without being asked and without making a fuss. When I was scared, you made me laugh at exactly the right moment. When I nearly talked myself out of going to class, which happened more than once, you somehow always appeared at exactly the right time with exactly the right amount of energy. I don't know how you do it. You have this ability to make everything feel possible. And do you have any idea how rare that is? I am genuinely, deeply lucky to call you my friend. Not just lucky in a casual way, lucky in the way that feels like the universe did something right. You are the kind of person who makes the world feel a little more okay just by being in it. And I am so glad you are in mine. I hope I can be half the friend to you that you have been to me. Thank you for everything, Priya. Everything. Notice how different this is in tone and texture from the letter to Tom, but how it carries the same depth of feeling. The lightness. I don't know how you do it. Do you have any idea how rare that is part of how Maya and Priya speak to each other. And that lightness does not make the gratitude less sincere. It actually makes it more personal, because it sounds exactly like the two of them having a conversation. It sounds like Maya's voice. You show up every single time. Short, punchy sentences with enormous emotional weight. Showing up is one of the most important things a friend can do, and naming it, saying it directly, is one of the most meaningful things you can give them. You make everything feel possible. This is a close cousin to "you make my day," but even bigger. Not just my day. Everything. All of it. My whole sense of what I can do, what I can handle, what is within reach. I am genuinely, deeply lucky to call you my friend. The adverbs matter here. Genuinely, deeply. They are not decoration. They are emphasis. They say, I mean this all the way through, not just on the surface. You are the kind of person who makes the world feel a little more okay just by being in it. This is not the kind of thing you would say in a professional context or to someone you just met. But in a close, real friendship, it is one of the most beautiful things you can say. It honors not just the actions but the person's very presence, the energy they carry, the way they simply exist in the world, and make it softer for the people around them. I hope I can be half the friend to you that you have been to me. This turns the appreciation into an aspiration. It says, you have raised the bar of what friendship can be. I want to rise to meet it. I am going to try. Priya cried when she read her note. Happy tears, the best kind. So here we are. We have been through 6 scenarios today, and I hope your brain is full in the best possible way. Let's do one final review of the most important phrases we have covered. I honestly don't know what I would have done without you. For when someone's help was truly essential, you really saved me, and you're a lifesaver. For enthusiastic, warm gratitude in serious or lighter situations, it means a lot, and it means everything to me. Short, powerful, emotional. I owe you one. Casual, friendly, and genuine. Perfect for friendships. You have no idea how much I needed this. For when someone responds to an unspoken need, that's what friends are for. The gracious, warm response to being thanked. Anytime. The open door response, I will always be here for you. You make my day. Gratitude expressed through compliment, honoring consistent presence and kindness. I really appreciate you. More personal than I appreciate it. Speaks to who someone is. I can't thank you enough. Acknowledges that words are insufficient, but offers them anyway. Thank you doesn't even cover it. For when the gratitude is so large that normal phrases feel too small. I'm so lucky to have you. Gratitude that goes to the core of the relationship. I am truly grateful. Sincere, slightly formal, great for professional contexts. This means more to me than you might realize. Invites someone into the emotional depth of the moment. You've earned it. The professional response, affirming, respectful, empowering. Your support has meant everything to me, for sustained, ongoing support over time. You were that person for me. Simple, honest, and deeply moving. Your kindness has changed me. For transformative, character-level gratitude. I am a better person for knowing you. For gratitude that speaks to a person's influence on who you are becoming. From the bottom of my heart. The sincerity marker, used to signal that everything you have said is completely and deeply true. That is a rich and beautiful collection of phrases. And I want you to notice something one more time. None of them are grammatically complicated. None of them require advanced vocabulary. What makes them powerful is the emotion behind them, the relationship they live in, and the moment in which they are spoken. Language is always connected to life, and these phrases are ways of making sure that the life inside you, the gratitude you feel, the appreciation that is real and true, actually gets out and reaches the people who deserve to receive it. Before I let you go today, let's do something a little different. I want to walk you through a few extended practice moments, real conversations you can try on, not just read, because I believe that language learning lives in the body, not just the brain. It lives in the moment when you open your mouth and let the words out. So let's practice together. Imagine you are at work. You have just finished a really difficult project, weeks of hard effort, and your manager pulls you aside and says, "I just want to say, the way you handled that was really impressive. You went above and beyond." Now, you have several options for how to respond. You could say, "Oh, it was nothing," which we know is a common and valid response, but maybe in a professional context, you want something a little more confident, a little more self-aware. You might say, "Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. I put a lot of effort into it, and I'm glad it showed." That response accepts the gratitude gracefully, names why it matters to you, and also quietly affirms your own effort. You are not dismissing yourself. You are saying, "Yes, I worked hard," and "Yes, it feels good to know you noticed." Or imagine a different scenario. A friend texts you at midnight because they are going through something hard, and they just need to talk. You pick up, even though you are tired. You talk for an hour. The next morning they send you a message that says, "I don't know what I would have done last night without you." You always know exactly what to say. How do you respond? You could say, "Anytime, really. I mean that." Or you could say, "I'm just glad you reached out. You don't have to go through things alone." That second response does something really beautiful. It not only accepts the gratitude, but also leaves the door open for the future, making your friend feel safe to come back next time they are struggling. Now, let's think about something more personal. Imagine you are writing a message to someone who gave you your first real opportunity. Maybe a teacher who believed in you, or a manager who hired you when you were not sure you were qualified, or a mentor who gave you their time when they did not have to. How do you express gratitude to someone like that, for something that happened months or even years ago? One powerful approach is to be specific. Instead of just saying, "Thank you for everything," tell them exactly what changed because of what they did. You might say something like, "I have been thinking about how much that year of working with you shaped who I am today. The way you challenged me and believed in me at the same time, I have tried to carry that with me in everything I do since. I am genuinely grateful to have had you in my life at that moment. See how specific that is? The way you challenged me and believed in me at the same time. That kind of specificity tells the person that you were actually paying attention, that you remember, that you carried it with you. It is much more powerful than a general thank you because it shows that their impact was real and lasting. Here is another thing worth understanding about gratitude in English: the role of timing. There is a phrase in English, better late than never, and it absolutely applies to expressing gratitude. It is never too late to thank someone for something that mattered. In fact, there is something particularly moving about gratitude that comes a long time after the event. It says, I have been carrying this with me. I have thought about it. And even now it still means something. If there is someone in your life you have never properly thanked for something they did, a teacher, a parent, a friend, a colleague, consider doing it. Even if years have passed. Even if it feels a little awkward. The receiving end of that kind of gratitude is one of the most genuinely touching experiences a person can have. And here is one more thing before we move to the final words. In English culture, and in many cultures that use English, gratitude is often expressed not just in moments of crisis or big events, but in the small, quiet, everyday moments. The barista, who always remembers your order. The colleague who always says good morning. The friend who sends you a funny message when they know you have had a rough week. These small, consistent acts of kindness deserve acknowledgement too. And the phrases you say in those moments do not need to be big or elaborate. A simple, you always know how to make me smile, or you have no idea how much I look forward to this every morning, can be the thing that makes someone's day. The way George's words made Maya's day when she needed it most. Gratitude is not just a reaction. It is a practice. It is something you can choose to do every day, in small ways and in large ones. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes in English. And the more you express it, the more you will also be able to hear it, to catch it in the words of other people around you, to understand that when someone says, "You always make this place feel worth being in," they are giving you something real and precious, even if it doesn't look like a traditional thank you. So here is what I want you to take away from today. Gratitude in English is alive. It is varied. It comes in many shapes and sizes and emotional registers. It can be casual or formal, brief or elaborate, spoken or written, said in the moment, or sent in a late-night message days later. It can be as simple as any time and as complex as a handwritten letter that took 3 drafts to get right. What matters is that it is real, that it comes from an honest place, that it says, in whatever words you can find, I see you, you matter. What you did made a difference, and I wanted you to know. You now have over 20 different phrases and expressions to use. You have heard them in real-sounding conversations with characters who felt human, who were tired and nervous and grateful and hopeful, just like real people are. You have practiced thinking about how to apply them in your own life. And you have, I hope, come away from this video with something more than just new vocabulary. You have come away with a way of paying attention to English, a way of listening for the feeling beneath the words, the warmth beneath the phrase, the relationship that gives the language its meaning. That is what English in Fluency is all about. Before I let you go today, here is your challenge for this week. I want you to choose 3 of these phrases, just 3, and I want you to actually use them in a conversation, in a message, in a written note. Use them in your real life, not just in your English practice, because that is where they belong. That is where they become truly yours. And here is your call to action for today, because I always believe in being direct about this. If this video helped you, if you heard something today that clicked, that landed, that made you feel a little more confident about your English, please share it. Send it to someone who is also learning English. Post it in a group. Tag a friend who would benefit from this kind of content. Leave a comment below telling me which phrase hit you the hardest, which one you are going to use first. I read every single comment, and I would genuinely love to know. Subscribe to English in Fluency if you have not done so yet, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We release new content regularly, all of it designed to help you understand English the way it actually lives. Not just on a page, but in a voice, in a relationship, in a moment between 2 people who are trying to connect. We are building something here at English in Fluency. A community of learners who are not just studying English, they are living it, feeling it, using it to make connections that matter, in a language that sometimes still feels new, but is slowly, beautifully becoming more and more their own. And you are part of that community now. I truly mean that. I am grateful you are here. My name is Alex. This has been English in Fluency, and I will see you in the very next one. Keep going. You are doing so much better than you think you are. I promise you that.